The lights of the television studio burned hot and unrelenting, casting sharp shadows on the polished desk where Candace Owens sat poised, her trademark confidence radiating like armor. The cameras were already rolling, the red live indicator glaring in the corner of her vision. Millions were watching. She had prepared for this segment, ready to face off against Senator John Kennedy, known for his quick wit and unflinching ability to cut straight through political posturing. Candace had expected a spirited debate, but what was about to unfold would leave her visibly rattled, her confidence shaken in front of the nation. It began with a pointed question. Host, sensing the tension between the two, turned to Kennedy. Senator Candace here has argued that the American people are being misled, but from a completely different angle than yours. What do you say to that? Kennedy leaned back slightly, his eyes calm but piercing. Well, he began, his voice slow and deliberate. The truth doesn't care who's speaking, it only cares about being found. And I think some folks, even smart ones, have gotten too comfortable talking at people instead of talking with them. That's the difference between convincing someone and confusing them. Candace's brow furrowed. Are you suggesting that? I'm suggesting, Kennedy cut in gently, that when we talk about the issues facing working Americans, we need to remember they're not chess pieces in a media debate. They're people trying to put food on the table, pay rent, and hold on to hope. The truth is, it's not about who wins an argument. It's about who helps them win their lives back. The words landed like a thunderclap. The studio grew quiet. Candace's usual sharp comebacks stalled as Kennedy continued, his tone steady, but weighted with something deeper experience. I grew up around people who didn't care what party you were in, he said. They cared if you'd show up, when their crops failed, or when the factory shut down. I've seen neighbors who disagreed on everything still lend each other a tractor when the others broke. But these days, too many in the media left and right make a living stirring outrage instead of offering solutions. And I think, Candace, you've got a powerful voice. But you're aiming it in a way that makes folks angrier, not better. Candace shifted in her chair, her lips parting as if to speak, but the words didn't come. The host glanced nervously at the production crew. Kennedy wasn't attacking, he was holding up a mirror, and the reflection was hard to look at. Not here to embarrass you, Kennedy added softly. I'm here to remind you and myself that our platform is a privilege. Every time that red light comes on, somebody's out there listening who might be making up their mind about their future. We owe them the truth, not just our brand of it, but the truth, messy, complicated, and not always easy to hear. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, was heavy with realization. Candace looked down for a brief moment, her polished composure slipping just enough for the camera to catch a flicker of something raw. It wasn't anger, it was doubt. It's a kind of doubt that cracks open a door to self-reflection. The show went on, but the energy had shifted. Kennedy had not raised his voice once, yet the weight of his words lingered in the air long after the segment ended. Viewers at home flooded social media not with mockery, but with respect for the rare moment of candor and humanity that had just unfolded on live television. Backstage, Candace walked quickly past the crew, her heels clicking against the studio. Floor, Kennedy caught up to her. Candace, he called, his voice steady. She turned, still guarded. You're smart. You care about this country. Just remember, truth doesn't have a party, and it doesn't panic under the lights. For a second she held his gaze, then nodded slightly before walking away. Maybe she wouldn't admit it publicly, but his words had hit their mark. In living rooms across America, people replayed that exchange, some with tears in their eyes. It wasn't just about politics. It was about integrity, humility, and remembering why the fight matters in the first place. Kennedy hadn't just dropped the truth on live TV. He'd reminded the nation that the truth, when spoken plainly, and from the heart, has the power to disarm even the most unshakable voices. And for many watching, it was a wake-up call they hadn't realized they needed.